Ah, to be in England in the summertime.
Oh, getting wet. Oh, got my arm.
I think what we're going to do is make a little video today.
Trying to get the water out without getting it.
We can't live stream, we can't get a good enough internet. Look how pretty that moss is on that tree.
We're going to get. Oh, I don't know.
So we're going to do what we've done before. We're going to do a sort of live stream. So we're going to have a chat with you, sat at the table. We're just doing our breakfast at the moment. Rick's just emptying the swimming pool. Yeah, it's funny weather. It is so cold. So we'll do that. You can put your comments in. We'll try and update you as best as we can, and we'll do it as a premiere, so you can have a chat with us. If we can get any internet at all, we will try and do something maybe live soon after. Oh! Oh, he's coming over. He's risking it for a biscuit. Let's brave it, Rick. Try and...
In that nebula, because they're low on energy and she wants her coffee, and they have to go to a nebula to get the Buzzard collectors out so that they get the necessary elements to make the energy to power Voyager. There.
I wish I could help, but I don't speak stupid.
You don't speak. Don't speak Star Trek.
So, I am live, Rick. I am live. So we're going to do a live stream, but for some reason we can't seem to get 4G or 3G or anything in the field. I think the weather maybe is having something to do with it. I'm not sure. So what we thought we'd do is another sort of live stream where we're imagining you're all there asking the questions. And maybe Rick can be our viewer for and ask the obvious questions.
Take away.
But we'll probably premiere it as well. And if I can edit it and if I can get it up into the internet, maybe today you'll see this one. So yeah, here's. Oh, by the way, here's Rick.
Hello.
Here's Michelle.
Hello, and it's Steve.
And here's me. So, how has the weather been, Rick?
Been beautiful, Steve. Beautiful. Yes, we don't need jackets or 3 jumpers or jeans and
Look, it's up to 2 minutes ago. It hasn't stopped blowing a hoolie and being cold, and now the sky is going blue, and we are
going to make a liar of us. You'll have to see the earlier footage that we filmed earlier today. It was unbelievable, was it not?
It was. It's been very cold. So we've come to meet up in this beautiful field, Damon and Jen's field, which is a bit of a little haven, little rest spot for us on our way north. And since we've got here, we've been really talking about whether we should go north. What's your thoughts?
I'm working on convincing them to turn back and go south, because the weather is just not going to play ball. And you're going to be miserable, and it's going to be wet.
Well, today
windy.
We had a thunderstorm last night, horrendous thunderstorm. It was about 10 degrees this morning and wet, and we would have had to cycle had we not had the hospitality of...
Well, first of all, we had to put a wet tent away.
We would have had to put a wet tent away.
Cycled, hoped that it stopped raining and that we could put a dry tent up or dry the tent out.
But it's been good up to now. I mean, we really haven't been caught in rain much on the way up.
No.
And it's...
You just sat there in their winter waterproofs.
We've been putting layer
With
upon
hats.
layer.
In July, middle of the summer in the UK.
And this is the first time we've had to get our down jackets. You had yours on up until just recently. So
Yeah,
we're doing
we
good.
can cope with the cold, because we have got the stuff for the cold. It's
sure.
the wind, it's the rain, and it's the cold.
And it's the fact, I think it's the 5th of July, so it's technically, you should be guaranteed to have modest weather. I'm not. We might expect the odd shower, but I didn't expect it to get down to 10 degrees.
No.
And I think today we've got a low of 11 and a high of 14.
A low of 8 on Monday.
Oh, Rick.
That's according to the weather forecast.
I'm asking Rick to stop checking the weather.
I'm trying to convince them that they have permission to change their plans if they want to, because I know sometimes you can get a bit set in your ways and say, right, we're going to do this, and it's a challenge.
Yes.
But I know this time round it's about the journey and enjoying the journey.
Yeah.
This is so true.
And I was saying to you earlier, Rick, when you've asked me about it several times since we've been here, that had I never been to John O'Groats or Land's End before, I think I would be dogmatic and just push through and do it. But because we've been there, there's very little new for us to discover other than the beautiful sort of open rolling highlands of Scotland and lowlands of Scotland and the Dales and everywhere else that we might visit en route. We have seen it all before, and so that incentive has gone.
Yeah.
The incentive to go somewhere I've never been is gone.
Although if you do end up in Scotland, I would not be a good friend if I didn't say you need to go to the west side, not the east side. The west side is infinitely more beautiful than the east side.
And I could sit there on the west coast looking out at the beautiful scenery, getting eaten to death by midges.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And he calls himself a friend. No, the midgie count on the west coast is rising, and we've seen it up and down. Michelle and I were monitoring it. There's a website called Smidge, which is a midgie sort of like it's very popular in Scotland for knowing where you're going to get eaten or not. And that coast is the one that's showing the higher signs. Occasionally it's going a little bit. I think in which was the town you said the other, the Kings?
Fort William.
Fort William was a red alert, or
it was just below Fort William,
Yes.
which was the red alert. But about what you want to do is aim, like Fort William is where the magic starts, and then you want to start heading north from Fort William. It's just
but it's summertime as well. I think it's going to be busy. I think it's going to be like Cornwall but north.
maybe.
You know, everybody's going because it's supposed to be so beautiful.
Look at this, Michelle's got a little
It's my donut peach.
bottom, a little bum peach.
They call them flat peaches, but they also call them donut peaches.
Have they got any softer yet?
Yes.
They have.
Yes, I can prove to you.
It sounded like an apple yesterday.
That's
It was
soft.
so.
But it's good, we've got a little shop here, haven't we, that we can go and get. We've been able to get great provisions. We had we had a full English fried breakfast twice on.
2 days running.
2 days
Brunch,
running.
wasn't it? Brunch. So yes, the weather is proving us a liar because it's beautiful at the moment. Blue skies, white clouds, no
Take
rain.
a look. Take a look. I mean, that is what I can see now, and that's the first blue sky we've seen in 2 days. So it is making a liar of us.
Maybe if you're editing this, maybe you should insert a little snippet of what you filmed earlier.
Oh, I have. I've got a nice little intro. You will have all seen what it was like 20 minutes ago. What makes me gobsmacked, I would say, Rick, is just how much blue sky is over there now. Look.
Yeah.
It's almost as if there isn't a cloud in sight. And we're sat here in sort of Benny hats and sort of Aaron sweaters.
Everything's drying out as well, isn't it now? Well, it should dry out nice and quickly with the sun, but
And wind.
So, what haven't we talked about? Anything we need to talk about, Rick? Can you think of anything that?
well, apart from the elephant in the room of, you know,
What are we going to do?
how are you going to proceed?
Well, from the way I feel at the moment is we should go where we are happy, and we are, much as we love these sort of challenge adventures, we don't need to be in the cold, wet and rain, and so we may decide to end up going somewhere a little bit warmer, but stay on the bicycles, stay on.
So I love the bicycles. I'm actually enjoying the bicycle rides. We're not doing hundreds of kilometres a day.
No, we were doing really well.
Yeah.
We found some lovely spots, and we
Nice quiet roads.
we've done
Very
well.
tiny little roads between hedges.
And that's why I sort of, half of me still wants to do it. But Rick, you've said once or twice now, and I think it's in, you know, it brings it home, is in a week or 10 days time, and we keep cycling north, and if the weather does continue to depreciate and get worse, we've got to come all the way back somehow, and it's the further we go, the further committed we are, and the harder it is then, because we don't have a vehicle to get back down to the south, the harder it is then for us to relocate and go somewhere warmer.
You could always, I mean, because there's nothing stopping you jumping on a train, is there, with the bikes? So you could always make sure that you're always, you know, following the line up where there will be a railway station within a reasonable distance. So at some point you could say, right, time to turn left, hit that railway station, aim for the south, and go to France.
But the trains in England aren't as well networked as we like to think. You know, it's like when you're in certain parts of the country, you have to go all the way to the centre to go back down to the south, because they quite often only come from sort of the west to the east.
They all sort of arrive at London, don't they? From some place in, which, I mean, is that a problem?
No. I think
Just
as well
means
we
you've
have
got
to
transfer.
might have to book slots on the train for our bikes. I don't know how many slots. I think I've read that could be an issue in the busy times as well. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
Who knows?
we're fairly flexible.
Worst case scenario, I'm sure you can get you and your bikes on a train, even if it's to London and you've got to cycle across London to get to the next railway station to take you south. It'll be a pain, but
Could be an
Right.
adventure.
I think we're going to keep this fairly short,
Yes.
and so that I don't have too much to upload, and just a little update so you all know that we are back with Rick and Damon, who will be here shortly.
Rick's nearly having a shower.
There is a swimming pool on the roof above us. Oh! Little update, love to you all, from Michelle, Rick and myself,
And you.
in a field in beautiful England in the summertime. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye.
We just don't know what to do. We've got a decision to make. Here's our little update. Our future's at stake. We just don't know what to do. We've got a decision to make. Here's our little update. Our future's at stake.